evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the Be the CEO of Your Life show, where we have amazing entrepreneurs that share with you how they grew their business so you can learn from them. And today I have a very special guest with me, Claudia. Claudia, can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Claudia Wyatt, coach, consultant, speaker, writer, igniter. I come in to help rewire your brain for you to believe in yourself. And I am here to help you with that today.
I love that. So let me quickly introduce myself as well. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Yvonne. I run Amaze Yourself, and we make scaling simple. We help you to grow your revenue and streamline your operations so scaling is made simple, and we have a guarantee as well. So, Claudia, I know when you and I chatted that you have an amazing story, that you not just became what you are now, but there's a whole background to it. Can you share that story? Because I thought it was very inspiring.
Absolutely. It's really interesting how your pain can launch your life and it can launch your career. And in the time when you're in it, you have no idea how you're going to get out of it. And all you want to do is get out of it. So I had a decade of just tragedy after tragedy. I have two toxic marriages I was involved in. My father and my sister passed away between a month of each other. My dog of 17 years passed. And I was just in a point in my life where I didn't know who I was anymore. I kept looking in the mirror and going, who are you? I was very dark and depressed and just unmotivated. And I thought, this is the best it's going to be. In a conversation I was having yesterday, I said, all I wanted was just to be happy.
Hmm.
And I didn't think that was so hard. Why is that such a big ask to be happy? But I couldn't figure out how to do it. And one day I just said, enough is enough. And I went on a walk and it was like I'd opened my eyes for the first time. And I was like, I am meant for more than this. And I gave myself the push to say, I'm not doing this anymore. And I dove into the work, and the work then launched my life. It helped me to uncover all these hidden things that I had locked inside of me that were bringing me down and taking me off my path. But by diving into those things and unraveling those layers, I then discovered who I really was and who I was meant to be. And then what happened? I started posting all of this writing on my journey and what was happening with me, and people were relating and asking me if I was coaching, and it turned into this whole business that I hadn't even planned on starting. I had a day job. Like, what are you doing? But it was like, this is what I was meant for, to
Hmm.
help people go through these things and realize they're not alone. And then you can do what you want. You can have what you dream of. You just need to get out of your own way. And it was just an amazing experience. But there was a very dark time for me with going through what I thought I had to be and letting go of those old stories and old programs and stop people pleasing and doing for others and not doing for myself. In those aspects, I was losing myself completely. So gaining that strength and momentum and finding that inner resilience brought me to the win.
I love that. And I think many people can relate because a lot of people often go through hardships. So, but you said all of a sudden you went for a walk and enough is enough. So, talk to me about that because I think many people go through hardships, but making that, this is it and then switching. What did you do around that?
It was a very interesting day because most of the time I would work and I would come home. Like, I was locked in my own prison that I had made in my house and I just couldn't leave. And I was tired of being on the couch. And
Yeah.
I got my dog, and it was a nice day. And I said, we're going for a walk. And when we went on that walk, it was just like clarity came rushing in. I saw the birds, the sun was shining, and it was a beautiful day. And I heard people laughing. And I was like, I want that. I deserve that. So get off the couch, get up, and go get it. And that was the start of, you got to figure this out. You cannot keep making these same mistakes. You can't keep repeating these patterns. You deserve a life. But it starts with one step. And a lot of times when you're in that darkness, when you're in that turmoil and that trauma, you can't find a way out because your mind just can't figure it out. But that's the thing. You don't have to figure the whole thing out. You just need one step forward. Just
Yes.
one.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's often what I tell my clients as well, because they, I work with very driven, ambitious people, and they tell me, oh, I want this. And I go, okay, we'll get there. Yeah, but then, no, it's too much. And it's like, no, 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 it's not too much, because we take one step at a time. And if you break it down, it becomes doable. But if you see, okay, I want to double my revenue. Wow, okay, where do I go? Oh, we're not doubling your revenue tomorrow. So what is it that you can do today? And I love that you have to break it down to make it, doable for us. So you changed everything around for the better. You're feeling great. You're looking great, right? Your business is doing well. So tell me, because you kind of rolled in your business, and you became a coach. Tell me about one of your clients that was going through a hardship and that you helped, and how you helped them.
Absolutely. One of my most favorite people that I've ever worked with actually found me through a podcast. It was very interesting because I didn't know her, she didn't know me, but she related to my story, which is why I'm here,
Yeah.
and jumped on the bandwagon. She was like, let's have a call, and we booked coaching. She originally signed up to coach with me for work. It was a more professional, goal setting, action plan, let's get organized, clarity type of coaching. But I also do personal and professional. So as we're going through what's going on and what she wants, and I'm seeing all the mindset and the misdirect and the not believing in herself and the self-doubt, and I went, hold it. We're going to pause that for a minute. We got to fix these things first. You can be the most successful human in the world, but if your mind isn't right, you are never going to get there. So I'm like, let's unravel some of those things. So we did that. And when we worked through that, she was just like, it was like a breath of fresh air to her. She was like, holy cow, I didn't even know I was holding on. I call it in the vault. She was, I didn't even know I was in the vault. I said, yes, we have to break you out of the vault because you have so much doubt. That's why you're not hitting your goals, because you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah.
So we need to work on that first. And once we got that tackled and we unraveled all those layers that she had been holding on to, we were able to then go in and create her work, professionalism, growth. I call it sprint. In a situation where she had a leader that was having one-on-ones with her and was basically just like, here are your numbers, do better. That is not coaching, ladies and gentlemen. That is not leadership. If the person doesn't know what they're doing wrong, they can't fix it. And if you don't help them get there, so that's what I stepped in. I said, okay, here's what we got to do. You need a breakdown. First of all, you need a timeline. Stop waiting to do the hardest thing last. That's why you're working 24 hours a day and you're burnout. You've got to figure out your plan. So then we were able to unravel. So it was a wonderful journey to work with her because we were able to do personal and professional together, which I do believe one hand washes the other.
Yeah.
And she skyrocketed. In 3 months, her numbers at work went up 63%.
Oh, wow.
That's a big goal.
It's very inspiring. So for those who are watching, how do you recognize that you're in the vault?
A lot of times you don't, especially if you have been so used to being in there, it becomes normal to you. That's where I, as a coach, come in because I can see it. A lot of people will realize something doesn't feel right. Something isn't quite right. They just feel like they're bombarded. They're overwhelmed. They're underwhelmed as well. Like you start getting bored and stuck and you're stuck, but you have no idea how to get out of it. That's what I call in the vault. But a lot of times we think this is the best I can have. We take on identities that don't align because they've become what we're used to. And a lot of times we're actually good at those things. So therefore we're like, well, this is it. It's not. You are allowed to dream big. You are allowed to go for it. You are allowed to show up for yourself. You don't have to keep doing those things if you don't want to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I find it fascinating that a lot of these, because you talk about personal and business, right? And very often it's something I experience with my clients as well. They have a very strategic goal and they get to a certain level, but then they like plateau. And when they plateau, I know, okay, there's something in their mindset that isn't really helping. And then we need to work on that first before clients go further. And it's something you said as well that I can really see with my clients. It's that inner belief in yourself. And when you're selling your services or your products, doesn't really matter, but you have to 3000% believe that this is the best thing ever. And I find it fascinating whenever I work with people and I ask them, is this the best thing ever? Oh, well, there's better. No, you can't say that. If you're selling it, you need to believe that it's the best thing there. And you don't have to believe that it's the best thing for the world. It's the best thing for the people that you can help. So I love that you recognize it. But how did she go with that leader that wasn't really supporting her? Did she be able to deal with that? Because that also asks something of you, right? Very often people are like, okay, now I feel good about myself, but then comes an authority figure or someone that kind of like, can do something to you, and then poof, everything's gone. How did that work out?
Well, I made her have a conversation with her leader. I'm like, you owe your leader a conversation, because they may not know that this is not what you need, because
Yeah.
you're not saying anything. They may think you get it. And this happens so often with leaders. They think that everybody knows what they're talking about, and your team is not comfortable saying, they're not comfortable being vulnerable and saying, I don't get it.
Yeah,
So
true.
open that door and say, you know what, I really want to have a conversation. I would love to continue working with you, but we need a different plan. I am not getting this. And then at that point, they don't take ownership of the fact that you learned differently, then you need to go above them and get a new leader.
Yeah.
We're just not a good fit, and that's okay.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. So there was a client that was really down and that you helped going up. And I know you've worked with numerous people. So was there also one person that was already doing quite well, but that you kind of like, let accelerate?
Yes. So I have a client that's been with me for like 3 years. She's been in some of my group programs and one-on-one. She's one of the best students I have ever had in my life. Like, she reminds me of me, because I love learning and I love knowledge and gaining. And I mean, this person is constantly like reads 30 books a week and, is just all in for the knowledge and doing the work everywhere. We got to a point, and this happened just a couple of months ago. There was something that she had unraveled in one of our sessions that had actually been holding her up, hanging her up for years. And it had happened back in like elementary school. And we were, going back into the root of something, and it just sparked a light bulb moment. And she was like, this is the whole reason that I have been stuck in this position, because of this fear in this moment that I have now carried with me for my entire life. I mean, it was just a breakthrough. She's like, I just can't believe it. And just the freedom and the relief and the excitement of, I can let this go finally, was huge. It was such an honorable moment for me, and I was so grateful that I could be a part of it with her.
I love that. Yeah. And it's what I've also experienced, and that's also something I hear from your story, is that very often, we're led to believe, okay, if you work on this, everything will be hunky-dory. And of course it will be better. But a lot of these childhood traumas that unknowingly, subconsciously we carry with us, we have to, like an onion, we have to go layer for layer for layer. And every layer you feel better for sure. But there comes a point, like your client, you're like, okay, now we're getting to the core, and now I can release it. And very often you're not even aware of the whole thing, because you're thinking, oh, I'm okay, because it's unconscious, right? And then you get to the core of it, and it dissolves. So
I mean, I've been there myself, right? Like, doing the work is an amazing thing, but there's always another layer. And,
yes.
I even came to a point where I was like, I have done this already. Why is this still showing up? I worked through this. I did the work. And it's like, there's always another layer. Yeah, well, just because there's always another layer doesn't mean you have to like it, but there's always another layer. But there is, and it's going to keep showing up when you are ready to reveal it.
Yes.
That's when things show up, is when they're like, okay, you're ready. We're going to throw this at you and see how you handle it. And the tools from doing the work are going to make it easier on you than if you just got hit with a core moment out of nowhere and didn't have any tools or anyone to help you. That's going to shut you down exponentially.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. And something you said, I had to, it reminded me, because I launched my academy recently and it's amazing. And thank you. And I was all there, I was thinking about it and all the people in there. And I thought, oh, I just want to because I was thinking about it, I just recorded the video. And I was thinking about, so what makes the difference between people who make it and people who don't make it, right? And I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs. And of course, there are people who kind of like, they're in this little stream and everything goes and goes. But I'm not there for the stream. I'm there for the waterfall. I'm like, but then up. So I was thinking, what makes the difference between those that carry on and all fine and I'm happy, and the ones that go like skyrocket? And it's like you said, they do the work. They do the work. They show up. They take to them what you give them. But what I also really firmly believe in is making that commitment to, this is what I want, and I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to go get it. And I'm also almost like putting blinders on, because this is what I want. Because all too often I see people that go like, oh yeah, so we have a strategy, great. And they start working on it. And then someone comes along on Instagram and they go like, oh, they do webinars, let me do webinars. And then they see someone on TikTok and they have like, all these flash sales, and they go, oh, let's do flash sale. And then they see something else and something else and something else. And they come to me and they go like, the strategy doesn't work. Yeah, the strategy works if you stay focused. Don't start adding and then spreading yourself thin. There's no more focus, there's no more commitment, there's no consistency, because then it doesn't work. And I find that fascinating to me, and that's really important, that you stick to it, even if it's like for a few months. Stick to it and make it work. But I love that your client was so driven and doing all the work, because that is amazing to work with, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love what you said too about the waterfall. Like that just hit home for me. Absolutely. That inner resilience is you going for it no matter what. It's letting go of the noise, because there's always going to be noise, whether it's the shiny object noise or it's someone telling you can't. You have to be ready to fail, and you have to be ready to fall on your face, fail, and keep going anyway. Because it's going to happen, especially when you're trying to build a business. There's so many things that are going to pop up that can defeat you if you let it. But you have to say, nope, I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care that I just failed. We're going to keep going. But if you keep going in this perpetual cycle of listening to the noise, you're never going to get there.
No. But you can't really, but I was thinking about this a lot, clearly. You can't really tell up front whether someone is, opening to the noise, or whether they are truly like, go, go, go. I wish I could, because that would be really nice. And of
It
course,
would be a great vetting process, right? You're not going to do the work. I can already tell. Goodbye.
But you can't, because everybody comes and they're all in the moment, they're all really driven and they all want to make it happen. But then push comes to shove, not everybody wants to do the work. And I get more and more, well, frustrated, I think, is it? Because I am like you, let's go, let's do it, And then you have someone and they go like, yeah, I think this is fine as well. And I go like,
no, it's
not fine. You can do more. It's so much better. So is there something, how do you deal with that? Because I'm curious to learn.
I have been there, especially because, you're like me, like we're doers, and then we're excited and we build off that momentum. But I learned a long time ago when I was coaching high-performing teams in corporate, I can't want it more than they do.
That is true. You have to let go, but
you can want the best for everybody, and you can hope and give them all the tools to succeed. I'm the coach. I'm not the doer, right? Like they are the doer. I give you the things and you do the things. But if you don't do the things, I'm not going to make you.
No.
You have to want that for yourself. And some people are going to want it, and everybody's going to want it in a different way and on a different level. That's with my walkabout. I'd say everybody walks their own path. The journey is different.
Yeah.
But you can tell right away if somebody is just not going to do it.
No, that's true. Some are like, okay, yeah, no. That is true. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So tell me, what's your you work with people personally, you work with people professionally. What's where do they start and what do they get when they leave? What's the journey?
Oh, it's such an amazing journey. It starts with a discovery call. So I need to figure out what it is that you have decided to show up for me for. Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But
Mm.
why are you here? Once you start talking, leads into why I see you're actually here.
Right.
I make customized plans. I like customized work. We are not all one size fits all. And
Hmm.
I will dive into all the things that you actually came for and then what I see that goes around that. And the journey will go as it goes. I always start off each session with what's going on. Tell me what's going on with you. Highs, lows, good, bad, struggles. Like, I am your person. Like, let it out. And
Right.
one of my clients said, she goes, your ability to pivot is incredible because
Mm.
I am not just going to, this is the plan, this is what we're going to stick to, and this is what we're doing. If that's not what we need today, then we're going to change it up and we're going to do something else because I am here to support you and to help you grow. And
Right.
if I see you're having a meltdown today, do we really want to dig into this type of a situation that we
That doesn't
planned
work.
for today? No,
No.
because your head's not there. I
Yeah.
need to find out what's going on with you, and you need to feel comfortable sharing that with me. I create a very open space and I share information and stories about myself so that we can relate to each other and then we'll go through that. It is not cookie cutter for me at all.
Okay, I hear you. Good. And where can people reach you best?
Anywhere, actually. I am everywhere. So I am on LinkedIn under my name, Claudia Wyatt. I am on my website, claudiawyatt.com. I am on Instagram under the Claudia Wyatt and Facebook under the Claudia Wyatt as well. So you can find me everywhere and I'm happy to help.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It was really a pleasure to hear you. And I know we only spoke about the tip of the iceberg because I know there's so much more. But thank you. It was amazing to see you. And I know that if people really want to change things, they definitely need to speak to you.
I
So
love
thank
it.
you for
Thank you
being
so much for having me. It was a joy and an honor. Thank you.
great. And if you were watching, I enjoyed that you were watching. I already quickly spoke about it. We recently launched the Freedom Accelerator Academy. So if you want to know how you can scale with ease and double your revenue guaranteed, reach out and we can chat. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.